Hello. This is a bit of a different episode. You might know that I've been doing a series on Nick Drake's life, and I'm taking a bit of a break on that for a couple of reasons. Uh, One, because, God, it's heavy stuff. It's really heavy going through the end, and I just wanted to do something cheerful for a little while. So I've been playing guitar. Um, I'll say a word about the guitar. This was actually my dad's guitar that he bought with one of his first paychecks in 1968, around the same time that Nick Drake would have been shopping for guitars as well. And he did buy it on Tin Pan Alley in London. So I like to think that maybe Nick Drake picked this up and thought, nah, and bought a different one. But anyway, he had a Martin, but I know he had a Spanish guitar as well. This is Japanese, and it's quite a nice one. I think it costs around £60, which is probably about 600 or £700 in today's money. So Nick Drake learned guitar as a teenager, and but it was after a few years of playing piano. Now, anybody who's played both piano and guitar knows that they're not really very compatible as instruments. For a start, E, the first chord that every guitarist learns, is, well, that scale has four sharps in it, which is not really beginner stuff on a piano. So the two worlds don't really gel. Guitarists never learn to read sheet music and that kind of thing. But Nick Drake, of course, could read music, and he tended to use keys which were different to standard guitar keys. So he didn't tend to use the zombie chords of A, all this business the first thing he did was that he used a capo to kind of take things into different tonalities. And it's possible that he'd been writing these things on the piano, or it's possible that he preferred the sound of those keys and maybe they went better with his voice. In any case, his Things Behind the Sun, and I've put some of the chords down on piano at the bottom. Now, on here, one thing to kind of look at is he did a lot of what's called voice leading, which is the notes of the chord are only like a step or half a step apart from each other, which it's got a very pleasing sound. Things aren't jumping around; they're very smooth. And another thing on there's a bit of a flamenco feel to the chords and also the way, especially I've played them because I tend to play a bit like that. But anyway, Things Behind the Sun. Okay, so what Nick Drake was doing with, first of all, using a capo was trying to get away from the standard guitar chords and go into tonalities which suited his music more. And another way he did this was by basically inventing his own chord shapes. Now, again, I think the next song, Riverman, is was originally written on piano. I mean, it's in C, which for me is a giveaway, and also it's got very uncommon chords. It's got going from a major ninth to a minor ninth. So it's got also this strong voice leading. Things are very smooth between the chords, and it's famously in 5/4. So it's got that da 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 da. Okay, here we go. So Riverman. So we've been dealing so far with just using a capo, and but this one's we're gonna actually start to tune the guitar differently. This is a really simple alternate tuning and a really nice one, I think. All we're gonna do is take this G string down to F sharp, and you get a really nice ambiguous chord. And ambiguous chords go through Nick Drake's music a lot. There's a lot of second chords, suspended fourths, all this kind of thing. And well, here's Cello Song, which is up at the sixth fret with a capo, so it's up here. And I think it ends up being in E flat, but my tuning I think is a bit strange on there. So you can hear that tuning really lets the strings ring out on there and the chord ring out on there, and they open up some new harmonic possibilities. Let's go on to the next tuning. Now this one's a completely different tuning, and I'm probably going to be pausing the video while I tune up on here. Okay, what it is B E B E B E. Okay, so at last we're tuned up in this one. Now B E B E B E. You can do all kinds of nice stuff. It's quite fun tuning. So with this, you can have lots of strings ringing out all the time, and if you design what you're playing around a chord, then it all works. It resonates deeply, and it sounds nice. So here is Fly, the introduction. Now, he did it on the steel string, I've done it on this. I think it sounds like a harp. I think it's a nice sound. So here we go. So really simple effect, very, very, very effective. All it's doing is probably if you piano a piano player out there, you'll have recognised it's just going down the A major scale. That's all it's doing. And so I hear you saying, I thought Nick Drake wanted to go outside of common tonalities. And so, well, with the next one, Chime of the City Clock, if you have a look at this, and he was taking chromatic notes and making a chord out of them, moving up and down on the neck and playing that against drones. So here's Chime of the City Clock. Again, quite simple as an idea, just moving those shapes up and down over a drone. And just to drive that home, here's Harvest Breed, which uses a really similar idea. Again, taking, I think, what's a fifth chord? Yeah, fifth chord, and then moving it up and down on the neck against a drone. So again, a really simple chromatic idea going over a drone on there. So that's one thing he tended to use, basically doing counterpoint between different notes and using his finger picking technique to sort of like make patterns of the notes on there. Okay, we'll deal with the last tuning we're going to look at today. This is probably the most famous tuning of Nick Drake's, and it's the one most associated with him. I'm going to put a note on here. When you see this listed, you'll usually see it starting from the note C. But I find C a long way to tune down the guitar. The strings start getting floppy. What that means is I actually tune the top two strings upwards. Now, I think the reason why people advise to tune down to C is because your strings could break. A classical guitar is a bit more forgiving with the tensions on there, and the strings don't tend to break. They damage the guitar first, but we're not going too far. But if you are using a steel string or an electric, maybe invest in a couple of light strings for the top two if you want to use this on an ongoing basis and you want to be able to bend notes and all that kind of thing. Okay, I'll take you through. I actually do this from D, and it makes it a lot easier to tune. So the first thing you need to do is do a drop D tuning. Okay, so then the next three strings actually stay completely the same. The B string, you tune upwards, a semitone. So you're starting to get there now. And then finally, the E string, you take up to a major third of the chord. So you're putting it up to there, which is completely out of tune just now. So if I just hit harmonic here and move my face away in case it breaks. And we have the famous Pink Moon chord on there. So there's, again, Nick used this with moving ideas up and down the neck. This next one is very simple, Parasite, and it's another chromatic idea, this time moving downwards. So this tuning brings together a few of the different ideas that Nick Drake used musically. For a start, it's got this drone, which is quite like the Indian tambura going on at the bottom. So you can play notes against that. But instead of just having the fourths and fifths that BEBE had, you've got The middle here is made up of the standard notes, so you can play those against each other. Or you've also got at the top a nice suspended chord, which in Pink Moon he plays up and down the neck. So it's just one finger, the main chord to Pink Moon. It's a really easy song to play if you can get the guitar in tune with it. So here we go. That's basically about it. There are a few stragglers on different kinds of tunings that he used on the guitar. This is all easy information to find out. I think the main thing is trying to consider between what was he actually tuning to and where was he using a capo, because a lot of these songs are reported as being down tuned and also using a capo, and maybe it wasn't that way. When you listen to his records, and I've been trying to work them out this week, they they're in this kind of between keys a lot of the time, so things aren't really tuned to concert pitch, especially on the album Pink Moon. If you're going to adapt these to your own guitar playing, I'd recommend starting with these as a building block and maybe taking some of the ideas that he was getting at with there and trying to come up with your own tunings. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be applying this to electric guitars for a start, and I'm interested in seeing what different textures and riffs can come out of it. Thanks a lot for watching. If you've enjoyed this, especially let me know. Tell me any mistakes. Tell me how bad my finger picking is compared to Nick Drake's, because I'd love to hear that. He was much better than me. Uh, but thanks for watching. Okay, see you soon. Bye.